Everything is ruined, mold, everything's saturated, well, he says the floors are buckling and stuff like that, and it's just, it's unimaginable. What do we do? Can't figure out what to do. Where do we go? He's 72 years old. I says, we can't borrow money and start rebuilding or buying a house.
Yeah.
For the amount we're gonna get for ours. They give you 80% of your estimated value. Well, our area, your estimates are low.
But they charge a lot of taxes
Yeah.
for something
I'm
that ain't
sure
worth nothing.
The taxes are sitting in the post office right now.
Well, they could stick them.
And we weren't allowed in
Till 3 days ago.
And
Everybody was, and here we sit and wait, and everything got so bad.
you can't open any of the cupboards, nothing, everything's swollen shut.
Look in the kitchen. I mean, we just renovated 3 rooms here. Now look at the way, that's buckled.
And sewage sitting in, I'm sure it's sewage sitting in the bathtub, it's brown, it's not gray or muddy looking, it's brown looking, so.
Well, you walk in there and film.
How high was the water in your house?
Just under the cupboard.
We managed to put some stuff away upstairs, pictures and his mom's ashes and stuff like that, but thinking we're coming back the next day to do stuff.
Well, we came back next day, but I was waist deep in the living room. And the power was still on. Search and rescue told us, get out of there, the power's on.
So your hot water heater will probably not be working.
No,
I doubt it.
well, I don't think anything's gonna be working.
The carpet is soaked.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure the floors are.
Yeah,
There's
there's-
hardwood under there too.
What was it like when you first came in here? How did you feel?
Well, I was crying. He was, I don't know how he felt, he didn't say, but I says, and I'm still, after 2 weeks, I still have my moments that I burst into tears and, because you just don't know. You don't know where you're gonna go from here. We're on a pension. We gotta go rent a place, that's gonna take half your pension. We've been without a mortgage since 1981. If insurance would help, it'd be fine, but
And on top
it
of
doesn't
that,
look like they will.
It's a rotten corpse in there now.
Yeah. The freezer was full. There you couldn't put any more. I mean,
all
there's
kinds of meat.
all kinds of meat, beef, steaks, roast, chickens. I don't think we had any turkey, but everything, bacon he just smoked, and breads and the
Lots of fruit.
frozen strawberries from the garden and stuff like that, and dill to make borscht and all kinds of stuff that you're not going to be able to replace. And
What's happened to the stuff in the freezers?
it's still in
Probably
there.
liquid
Didn't look.
flesh. It's rotten.
When do you think you're going to be able to empty those?
We haven't
let
figured out how we're
somebody
going to get them out of the house yet.
else-
Yeah. And the idea of opening them up,
No, bad idea.
Not in the house.
Bad idea.
what kind of help do you need with that from the city?
New house.
Right now, we don't need. We're getting help from the Red Cross. We're getting
Yeah.
help with groceries and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
we're okay with that.
Young guys with strong backs to get those things
Yeah.
out of here.
We need help to clean the house out.
A lot of the stuff we can do ourselves, but the deep freeze, the fridges, can't do it with the 3 of us.
We asked the gas guy, what is he? The repairman.
Repairman.
He says, well, all the codes have changed. You're gonna have to rebuild your whole chimney system and everything. So we couldn't even get a stove and put it in there. Everything has to be changed. So, and that's another $4,000 or $5,000 just to heat your house. It's just frustrating. It's just so frustrating that maybe it isn't taking so long. Just for us, it just seems like it's taking so long to get any answers and to get back here 2 weeks. That's kind of ridiculous to be waiting that long, especially when the water was gone for over a week, I think.
It'd be nice to see the mayor out.
Pretty much up to that bar on that window there, very close to it. and roll in about 3 or 4 hours.
And where are you guys staying now?
We're still in the same room at the Ramada, so we were lucky enough to sort of be able to stay situated there.
Yeah.
For now. So you can see we just had finished our fence earlier this year finally, and most of it's gone. Laying around the neighborhood and some over here and stuff, but so this old cottage actually took water in about halfway through Thursday. It was in the floor here. Again, it went up to just past the people on the door there. I can't even get inside there right now because we bought a big play set for the kids from Costco, and it floated in behind the door and it's jammed it. So.
Do you own or rent here?
No, we own. Yeah.
How long have you lived here?
We've lived here for 5 years now. Yeah.
And how did the flooding go for you guys last year?
Last year, it went about halfway up that last step there, so we were a little nervous, but that had been a real high water for 20 years even, so it was a little nerve-wracking, but it wasn't, the sewer didn't back up or anything like that, so yeah, this is a whole different thing. Just watch your step here, because there's whatever firewood and I don't even know how this stuff got here.
So this is not your firewood?
No, I had some nice larch and they switched it with some ratty old pine. So, no, it's probably a steady stream of firewood down the back or down the river. So this here is the laundry room. I guess it went up to about here on by the looks of it. It's swollen up to here in this back room. So both those appliances are no good. Yeah, it's just really awful in here. Lots of mosquitoes in here right now, like just loaded with them all over the walls. Not as bad as yesterday, actually. So this bedroom, we put everything up on drywall ladders to hopefully keep it safe, but it went higher than that. So it went up to, by the look of it, it went up right about here. So pretty much to the top of that mattress. Everything in here is just wrecked. There's just nothing left. This freezer is now completely upside down, but it was upright right here.
Oh God, these mosquitoes, eh?
Oh, they're awful. Actually, there it is. I think the worst is over for us. The week and a half of wondering what it was going to look like inside. To be honest, it was worse than we thought, but at least that's out. Now we know, and we can start trying to make a plan to get through it.
When you first walked in there, what was your reaction?
Yeah, it just was a little much at first. Just, hard to believe.
And what are your next steps?
Well, we don't really know yet. We don't know what. We're sort of in the process now of asking questions and what do we need to see a restoration company, or do the inspectors have to go through here first? We don't know. Not to complain, but I wish there was a little more sort of readily available information on what we should be doing. I think most people are trying to help, so we're really appreciative of that. Like the people of the Red Cross have been just fantastic. They're putting in these long hours and dealing with other people's grief over and over, and somehow they keep their chin up. It's pretty cool. We have insurance, but from what I understand, it doesn't cover overland flooding for. I don't think anybody's really does in this area. So.
Are you expecting any help from any other organizations or?
Well, I think like everyone else, we're kind of hoping the disaster relief fund or whatever it is going to be there for us. Maybe not all covered, but whatever, some percentage of it or whatever to help us get back on our feet. That would be great.
Yeah.
And if not, it'll be a slow process.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things that we discovered yesterday, if you follow me, is we have a water line. They give you an idea of how much water we had. So I'm about 5'7". This is where the water stopped for a period of days, which means that it was even higher than that at one point in time. And so everything, countertop height and down, needed to be gutted. All of our cabinets are gone. And because it's a modular home, we didn't have conventional drywall inside. It was too expensive when we bought it. They have something called gypsum board, so it's a vinyl coated board, but we can't get replacements. So unlike most people who can cut off their drywall at the water line or just above, we had to pull our full 8-sheet panels off, or 8-foot panels off. I have absolutely no idea how much it's going to cost to fix it. And we're a young family. My boys are, almost 14 and 12. And I phoned the EOC, and the lady I spoke to told me that it was my responsibility to get a pump and pump out my property. And I said, well, that's all fine and dandy, but where exactly would you like me to pump it? Because all of my neighbors on all sides of me are full of water. And she says, I'll get back to you. And that evening at 6 o'clock, the EOC brought a pump down and started pumping out the property. And not just our property, but the whole corner. They were pumping out for everybody. And it took 5 days. So 19 days to wait to get in to assess your house is not cool. This particular property has never had water on it before. Not even seepage. We've never had anything here. Even last year, which was the worst flood they'd ever seen since 2000 or since 1948 or whatever it was. We never had water here. We just never saw this coming. It's such a shock. And I understand living in a floodplain. I get that. I understand that there's a certain amount of risk, but when we put this here, we followed all the rules. We built to the elevation we were supposed to build to. We had to get the footings had to be engineered. The attachment points had to be engineered. There were quite a few different things that we had to do, and that cost us more money in order to make sure that we were mitigating any sort of issue that might come from flooding. We weren't the ones who were living in here, and because of that fact, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of support. We don't have financial support from the government. We might not have any support from DFA, and the Samaritan's Purse can't help us clean it up. Luckily my husband was off on a temporary layoff, so we had the physical ability to go through this house. I can't imagine what this would look like if he was working. And fortunately, Rockwell's been really understanding. But he's got to go back to work, and I don't know what this is going to look like now. Like, we still have so much work that needs to be done in here, and we're essentially doing it by ourselves. We have a mortgage, and unfortunately, so what happens in this kind of instance is rental agreements and even rent-to-own agreements become frustrated. And so what that term means is that they basically become null and void. When a disaster or something happens that's not the fault of the landlord or the tenant, both parties can walk away without penalty. They've done a rainy day payment option for us, which is part of our mortgage plan, which means that they've been given us 1 month grace. And unfortunately, they can't do any more than that.
And so you guys now, you have a place to live, but you're stuck with this mortgage that you have to pay on this place that you can't rent out, you can't fix, and you can't sell. So how are you feeling about that whole...
Horrible. I'm not really sure how I'm processing the whole thing. I'm actually surprised that I'm keeping it together as well as I am. You would think that no support would be the worst thing that could happen, but not knowing what's going on is the worst thing that could happen.
I just took them both out.
Everything has to come out. That's even the drywall that's damaged, down to the sticks, they said. We're just trying to pick up some stuff and get it out there, sorted in the piles that they need. They need wood, white enamel such as fridges and dishwashers and that, and garbage and insulation. The bedding, you know, the mattresses, Chesterfields, they all have to go in the garbage pile. We're trying to save some of the things that are important to the family. We managed to save here. His son, this is his grad picture. It's not in really good shape, but he was worried about it. He's gradding this year. And there's a picture of Cora and her mom. Her mom has passed away. So, you know, it needs to clean up, but it'll be special to me. It's done. That made life easier.
10 o'clock.
It was just breathtaking to think that there's so much loss. And it's not the only one, you know? I think there are about 50 homes in this North Rockwell. I don't know how many over in Johnson Flat.
It's like a cement
But it was, you could cry. We get a lot of tears, all of us. And I don't know how Ron felt, you know. I think he just tried really hard to be strong and courageous for his family. And my heart ached for the kids. People say they're resilient, but I don't know how resilient they can be. I think somewhere along the line, things catch up to you. And, you know, I guess we have to be grateful that there were no lives lost. And, yeah, we had livelihoods destroyed, but no lives lost.
Oh, man, you wrecked the door frame. Oh, what?
You're fired.
So what comes next? Well, what's the next step after the house gets cleaned out?
Then I think they make an assessment is whether the house can be repaired or not. If not, I guess they have to take it down totally and start from scratch, I would presume.
Gotta open these windows for sure.
Yeah. Oh, easy. This is mush. Is this wet? Yep. Yeah. What? Lots and lots of mold, like fuzzy, slimy mold. The moisture, unbelievable, and the height that it has crept up into the walls, even though we tried to get everything out as fast as we could so it wouldn't, there's just no stopping it.
Anti-mold, Shazam. HydroClean gave it to me for free. You need one of these suits. This one's pretty awesome. It's got booties.
Scraping the mud and probably shit off of the floor.
Some brilliant person gave us a porta potty. Right now we kind of need it because nothing's working and we're all here cleaning up. So thank you porta potty person, you rock. Things floated all the way back there. The flood actually opened my door and floated stuff. There's some more of my possessions. My shed puked all of its interior guts out. My belongings mostly have gone to the dump. How many sandbags do you think you moved today, Blair?
About 2,000. We're halfway.
How are you feeling?
Tired, but good. It's a good thing to do after vacation.
In your driveway, walking to my car, and I almost stepped on a fish.
Where is it?
Just in the water flowing across the front of your driveway there.
It's alive?
It was. Swam away from my foot real quick. It was about that big.
There's a fella here, Don, he had a bunch of tools stolen the other night.
All floodwater is contaminated.
Just keeps festering and festering and festering. Now you're telling me that's safe?
I think it's been really hard for her too. Like, just, I don't know, like she want to play and everything and do stuff.
It broke right where they went up and down with an excavator, and I feel that it might have compromised the dike that we had.